Now, of course, everything here in Colleyville is going to definitely be based on your budget. What can you afford and what is it that you're looking for? Because it's such an established area, you might find the most beautiful home or in the perfect location, but it might need a little bit of updating. And I could give you a list of neighborhoods, but we're not going to be finding tons of big, large master plan communities that you're going to be finding in other major areas here in DFW, mainly because it is established. Again, you will find some neighborhoods that are going to be gated. You'll have actually a handful of those here in Colleyville. You're going to have some that do have community pools or maybe even some tennis courts. But look, driving through here, I just kind of wanted to highlight one of these areas, and this particular neighborhood is called Lakes of Somerset. It is a gorgeous neighborhood that I love and is one of the most maybe scenic feeling little pockets with these tree-lined streets in here. But you're also going to have some water views and also, as you can tell, a little bit more of a kept up type of atmosphere that really kind of jumps out. Like, none of these houses are sitting super close to the roadway. Everything is very well manicured and just gives you that large estate feel of people really taking pride in their neighborhood. So just kind of wanted to drive through, and this is pretty typical of a lot of the neighborhoods that you're going to find here in Colleyville, and just some gorgeous homes that I could probably drive through every day. I just personally like it when it's springtime and everything's in bloom and the grass is green. Just something that I absolutely love here about living in the Dallas area. But Colleyville, if you're looking for established, you have a really good price point, good budget that you can afford, and you want something with great access, I mean, I will speak highly of Colleyville all day long. So reach out if you have any questions specifically about here, and let's find you your dream home here in the Dallas area. Now, like I said, we have plenty of options for that high-end feel, totally depending on what it is that you're looking for. But if you are looking for some mature trees and more of like that classic Colleyville feel, well, we have neighborhoods like Brook Meadows and Thornbury. Those are frequently where people might start looking if they want more space and a lot more privacy. And if you want those higher end, polished type neighborhood aesthetics that you can certainly find here, well, you have areas like Layton Grove, Montclair Park, Oak Alley, which is more new construction, and those kind of really do tend to stand out a little bit more visually. Oak Alley with the tree-lined street as you enter in the gated neighborhood over there. And some of these neighborhoods are just really going to give you that wow factor that people really talk about when they say Colleyville has that curb appeal that they might be looking for. But a little bit of a reality check, Colleyville inventory can be tight, like I said, and a lot of the homes here are more custom and established. So the trade-off is going to be that you might be choosing between maybe an updated home, newer construction, or some that need some updating rather than those brand new everything. And that's really not bad because everybody has their personal preference. It's just kind of the game that you're living. It's just kind of the game that you are living in if you're making that move here. Do you want brand new construction, everything, your trees are little, or do you want more established, cozy, and just that feel of moving somewhere with a little bit more quiet and peaceful atmosphere? So any more questions? Like I said, I can talk all day long about some of the beautiful neighborhoods that I love here in Colleyville. It's just, you talk about a lot of these other neighborhoods and communities and cities all throughout DFW, and you can absolutely highlight maybe the top 2 or 3 that everybody is talking about. But here, because we don't have these big, huge master plan communities, but we have these gorgeous tree-lined streets. I mean, look at it. In fact, this whole side, somebody must have put some grass seed over there because it is so green and nothing else is here in Dallas right now. But again, it's still a gorgeous neighborhood, or so many gorgeous neighborhoods that we have out here. And they're a little bit smaller. So you might have one street that has all these luxury homes, everything a little bit tucked back. You might have some smaller gated communities with maybe only like 50 homes in it. You have a lot of like those some tree-lined trails with the waterways and some little ponds and things throughout those neighborhoods. You have so much of it here in Colleyville, and I know I should absolutely come back out here in the spring and give you another little taste of just driving around the city and letting you see what it looks like in all of its glory. The only problem with that is when you have all these leaves on the trees as you're kind of driving through town, it just makes it a little bit harder to kind of see everything if the homes are tucked back a little bit further from the street. So just kind of wanting to drive you through here and give you a sense of what you can find if you're living here in Colleyville. Now, the city of Colleyville also has a really great town center. Think of it more of like your hub of the city. We're driving right through town, and a lot of it is going to be right here off of the Highway 26, like I talked about, which is running literally diagonal right through town. We have everything from upscale grocery stores. You have a Whole Foods, you have Market Street, and honestly, you have just enough restaurants and shops to keep a lot of the residents locally here very happy for not only getting a quiet bite for lunch or maybe out for dinner with some friends, but a lot of really good places to just go with your family or for whatever it is that you might be looking for on a daily basis. So even though Colleyville itself might not have a really big abundance of, your retail options, living here, you're not only going to be a short, maybe 30 minutes away from a lot of the Dallas area's finest shopping destinations. We have so many of those here in the Dallas area. We have everything from South Lake Town Center, which is just up the street on the northern border of Colleyville, and not too far away is going to be North Park Mall, the Galleria Dallas, and you're going to have everything from your luxury stores like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, to Lululemon, Alo, and even your basic everyday stores that aren't going to break the bank. So truly, the location of Colleyville is going to be just give you that more peaceful lifestyle that you might be looking for and craving if you're looking to get out of one of the bigger bustling cities here in the country. But it's also going to still be a really easy jaunt to, a lot of the things that your heart desires here in the Dallas, Texas area. So I love Colleyville. We have friends here, and just kind of driving down here and meeting some friends for lunch. It's not, like I said, if you're looking for more of that nightlife atmosphere, Colleyville might not be it, but the location just probably can't be beat for a lot of the things that you might need on a daily basis. Your commutes are going to be pretty centrally located, whether you're working down in the Fort Worth area or even downtown Dallas, or even over in the Las Colinas area, Colleyville could be a really good option. Now, the thing that, of course, that we always need to focus on is going to be your budget and your price point. What is it that you are looking for in regards to that? Because here in Colleyville, the average price point, you're looking at about $1.1 million, so pretty hefty. But we do have prices ranging anywhere from under $400,000 for maybe your condo because you want low maintenance, to maybe even $8 million sitting on multiple acres. So we got a little bit of something for everybody, but nonetheless, we still want to make sure that you know that your average here is going to be over $1 million just because of the size of the homes and what it is that you get here. But here in Colleyville, we're really not seeing a whole lot of growth. Because it is so established, you are going to get those handful of new construction opportunities that do pop up here and there. But you're looking at currently, I think we have 5 new construction homes on the market, but that's pretty much going to be your average throughout the course of the year. You're not going to see these big neighborhoods popping up. I think eventually the little pockets that we are finding are some gorgeous new gated communities, but you're still looking from $3 to $5 million for a lot of these. And you might be sitting on an acre to maybe even a half an acre on some of these new construction areas, probably because some of these larger homes that are sitting on multiple acres might eventually start to downsize. So if you have any questions about any of that, you want to know what is current on the market. Currently today, as I'm shooting this, there are about 45 homes listed for sale here in Colleyville, but so you're not seeing tons and tons of turnover like you are getting in some of the bigger cities here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro. Now, a lot of families that do end up wanting to move here to Colleyville do so because of the great school district that we have here. The Grapevine Colleyville Independent School District is currently ranked number 2 in all of DFW, which obviously is a huge draw for people wanting to come to the area if they do in fact have kids. This isn't really me saying that, it's going to be the best school district ever. That is always open to interpretation on what it is that works best for you and your family. But it's also saying that it is a great area for families who do want a little bit more of a strong, established school community, one that has been around for a long time. So if that's something that you're considering, it works within your budget, I would probably maybe put that on your short list for places to check out, especially because of location as well, and if you do have to commute. In fact, I had one of my friends from high school, when they were moving here, that's exactly why they relocated here, was because of the school district and access that they were going to have for her husband's commute to work. So definitely something to consider if you have kids in school and you're looking to be here maybe long term and hoping to kind of get through all of the high school years, and you want a really good established school district if you are making the move here. But definitely something that needs to be considered is even though the majority of people are part of the Grapevine Independent School District living here in Colleyville, there's a small portion that is zoned to Keller ISD, a little bit zoned to Carroll ISD, which is part of the South Lake area, and also the HEB School District, which is the Hearst Euless Bedford School District. So just another thing that you kind of need to make sure of when you're making that move. Check those addresses, and I can set up specific searches for you if that's somewhere that you're looking for in a particular school district. I do have clients who lean more towards one school district over the other, and sometimes here in Texas that can have a little bit of an overlap, and I am more than happy to set you up on those searches or help do that for you to make sure that you do land in the right place. But overall, again, the majority of the homes here in Colleyville are going to be zoned to the Grapevine Colleyville Independent School District. So I, in fact, was just talking to some new clients earlier today, and the biggest thing that they said is because some of the areas that they're considering moving, they did not want to be stuck in too much of a sleepy town with not enough to do. And we did end up talking through all that. So even if you pick one of these different particular suburbs, what are the things that are all around it? So I think that's where some people might get held up thinking, oh, Colleyville, not so much to do. Well, when you have different things like we were talking about, your shopping, you have access to South Lake Town Center. But if you really needed to go do a lot more shopping because you really like going to the mall and maybe you want those luxury options to be able to go into the store, well, you're 30 minutes away. Well, here, I'm thinking every day, multiple kids, not only grabbing lunch with your friends, date night spots, but also getting whatever you need, because whatever you might have forgotten and you don't have time to get it on Amazon, and you have it all right here. So lots of options within Colleyville, and even though we're in Euless, sorry, you have all of this right here at your fingertips and multiple options in which you can go find whatever you need. So I have a lot of people who are concerned with their commute. So let's kind of give you a little bit of the commute reality that you're going to find living here in the city of Colleyville. Well, if you need to make frequent airport runs, now that is another big reason why people might want to choose moving here to the Colleyville area. And if you're thinking of maybe your off-peak hours, your typical drive time to DFW, whether you go to the north entrance or the south entrance, because we do have those options, could be around 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the location that you're living in Colleyville. And to get to downtown Dallas, it could be approximately like 27 miles, or more importantly, just a big headache, like a lot of other areas around the Metroplex. Colleyville is a great location, but it's still going to give you some headaches that you need to be prepared for. But to get over to Fort Worth, though, actually is only slightly less stressful because it's only about 15 miles. But I'd also highly recommend checking maybe your Waze app if you haven't used Waze before. In the mornings, plan that best route to get to and from work, or how often you might have to commute, because you do have options for where you need to go, and kind of getting stuck behind a bad accident could really impact your stress levels if you're in a rush to get out the door, drop your kids off at school, and make it into the office in time. Now, some of the peak patterns could kind of be around the 114 and 121 interchanges. And those can also, really kind of stress you out sometimes in the morning based on the time of day that you need to go to work. And you even have the south side of Colleyville off of like what they call the 183, or even over off of Highway 360. But you really do have the option to try both toll and non-toll routes for your commutes when you're living over here in this particular area. So kind of depends on, what time of day you're leaving, where you need to go, and the time you need to get there. So always recommending to check those commute routes and what you need to do. But for the most part, the central location of Colleyville, depending on if you are more over here on the west side of the DFW Metroplex, could be a fantastic option if you want to check out one of these amazing homes that they have located here in this particular area. Now, you are always going to have pros and cons living in a particular area, moving to a particular location, city, even state for that matter. But here in Colleyville, I'm probably going to say my biggest pros, the pros that I hear all the time, are going to be the airport access and the central DFW location, where it's located in all of the DFW Metroplex. There's also a very good, very strong school cultures. There are some beautiful, mature neighborhoods. Like I said, I would love to drive you through here and give you as much of an idea of what these neighborhoods look like. Unfortunately, just no pretty green leaves on the trees, but you're actually able to see a lot more of what these houses look like over here. So many different custom homes over here, so many parks and trails, and not sure if you can see through this particular community, there's a beautiful trail stream that runs all the way through it, and just these heavily treed walkways as you go throughout this neighborhood. And of course, there's going to be a few little cons over here as well. Your peak hour, those bottlenecks of getting to and from work off the 114 and the 121 can be quite a big headache. And as always, if you can come here, you can map out, you can drive your routes. I tell people, check the commute times in the morning and in the afternoons on where you'd probably have to be commuting to work to see what those times are going to look like for those commutes. And more importantly, for so many people, because I do get new construction questions all the time, is that you're really not going to have very many brand new master plan communities with all those amenities in a lot of these booming suburbs. We're not looking for any lazy rivers and blue lagoons over here in the city of Colleyville, unfortunately. And also inventory, a little bit more of a scarcity over here with what you're going to find inventory wise. So it might be something that you're going to need to give yourself a little bit more time to look for the right house. If you know that you're maybe a few months out of moving and you have that time to just kind of find the right house, this could be a great location, but it might be a little bit harder to find if you're looking to move within the next 30 days. I'm definitely not saying that that's impossible, but certainly maybe it's something to be aware of, just because you're not going to have an abundance of inventory that's going to be coming on the market here in Colleyville. So certainly something to think about when you're thinking of, your pros and cons and looking to actually relocate here. So if you're relocating, here's the Colleyville story in plain English. We like to break it down. We like to give you all the facts and just stick to the details of all these particular cities. You are going to be getting a calm, established, and a little bit more polished suburb here in Colleyville with a lot of really great day-to-day conveniences that are going to just make your life so much easier. You're going to have a really strong school demand, and you're going to have a number of different parks all throughout the neighborhoods and throughout the city that are actually going to get used, and you're going to want to go and enjoy, mainly because there's going to be shade and sunshine all throughout the year here in the Dallas area. So your homework is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to tell you to check out those commute times. And if you want a particular school district, you want to actually be zoned to a particular high school, make sure that you test those addresses, or let me set you up on a more specific search that we can verify where those areas are going to be. And also decide if you're going to, maybe new build amenities are what it is that you're really looking for, that are, going to fit your family the best. But if you want a more mature neighborhood, you want the charm of these big, beautiful trees, a little bit more open space, and just the charm of living in an established area, well, then Colleyville is absolutely going to be the one that I'm going to recommend that you look a little bit further into. So if you want, I will be more than happy to build you a Colleyville shortlist based on, your price point, the commute times. Do you need to be a little bit more over on the northwest side of the area, or you want to be a little bit closer to the 121 freeway? There's a tiny little portion of Colleyville that is going to hug the 121 freeway if you really want to have super easy access. And even getting from the west side to the east side could take a little bit of time, and I will be more than happy to create that curb appeal tour for you so that you can see the best streets all in one afternoon. So any further questions about where it is that might fit you when relocating here to the Colleyville area, or anywhere throughout the DFW Metroplex, my name is Kristen Carpentier. Reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and let's find the perfect fit for you in relocating here to the Dallas, Texas area. And until next time, take care.